Some memories don't die, and some mothers refuse to let go. But the house had been waiting for her. My name is Evelyn Ward, and I am 34 years old. Life has not been kind to me. My husband left me last winter, walked out, and never looked back. He took everything from our shared bank account, every dollar I had saved from years of restoring old photographs. Now I'm alone. I work long days fixing damaged pictures for small-town clients, but money is never enough. My younger sister, Lily, is sick, her lungs are weak, and the doctor says she needs treatments we can't afford. I lie awake most nights, crying quietly so she doesn't hear. The world feels cold, small, empty. Then, one morning, a man calls me. His voice is deep and steady. "You're Evelyn Ward, right? The photo restorer?" "Yes," I say. "How can I help you?" "I represent a private client," the man says, "a wealthy one. He owns an old painting that needs restoration. He wants you to do it." My heart beats faster. A wealthy client means real money, maybe enough to help Lily. "Where is this painting?" I ask. "On an island," he says casually. "A small one, far off the coast." "An island?" Before I can ask more, he continues, "The pay is 10 times your usual rate." I go silent. 10 times. A number that could change everything. A number that could save my sister. "I'll take it," I say quickly. "Good," he replies. "But there are rules. Do not ask questions. Do not leave your room at night, and tell no one." The rules feel strange, almost threatening, but desperation is a strong force, stronger than fear. I agree. He tells me the house is called Blackthorn House, and the man who lives there is named William Hale, a solitary, quiet man. No friends, no family. The next day, I pack my tools, a sweater, and Lily's picture. I leave before sunrise. At the harbor, fog rolls across the water like thick white curtains. An eerie silence hangs over the docks. Old fishermen stand beside crates of nets. They speak in low voices. I hear a name whispered, Blackthorn. One old fisherman looks at me sharply. "You going to that island?" "Yes," I answer. His face falls, like I just told him someone had died. The man who lives there, he's not right. Folks say he killed a woman, his own woman, 5 years back. A cold feeling crawls up my spine. But I think of Lily. I think of the empty medicine cabinet. "I have to go," I say softly. Before I step toward the boat, a thin woman, skin pale like paper, approaches me. Her eyes look too big for her face. She slips a folded paper into my hand. "Read this," she whispers urgently. "Be careful." Then she disappears into the fog like she never existed. I open the paper slowly. 4 words. "Do not let him touch you." My throat tightens. The boat horn sounds. Time to go. On the boat, 3 silent passengers sit hunched over. No one looks at me. The boatman doesn't smile, not even when I thank him. As we move into the fog, the ocean rocks the boat hard. My stomach twists. I take out the paper again. The warning feels heavier now. Do not let him touch you. 2 hours pass. Then the island appears, dark stone cliffs, leafless trees, and a massive house sitting like a monster on the hill. Blackthorn House. The boatman helps me off the dock. His eyes meet mine for one moment. "Be careful," he whispers before pulling away. I climb the winding, broken path. Dead grass crunches beneath my boots. The wind is icy, biting my skin. The huge black door looms in front of me. I knock 3 times. The sound echoes through the house like thunder. Then silence. Footsteps approach slow, heavy, each one vibrating through the floor. My heart pounds. My hand brushes the paper in my coat. The door opens. A tall man with broad shoulders stands there, William Hale. His clothes are old and dark. His face looks carved from stone. His eyes deep, cold, unreadable rest on me. "You're Elena." "Yes," I whisper. "Come in." The door shuts behind me with a deep, final thud. The house is freezing. Candles flicker, barely lighting the hall. William walks ahead, silent and swift. I follow. The hall is lined with strange stone figures, half-human shapes, arms twisted, mouths open in silent screams. They look trapped in eternal pain. "What are?" William turns sharply. "No questions." His voice is sharp as a blade. We climb creaking stairs. He stops at a wooden door. "This is your room. Stay inside at night." He shuts the door without waiting for a reply. Inside, the room is small but clean. A cold breeze slips through the cracked window. Fog covers everything outside. I'm shaking, not sure from the cold or fear. That night, I barely sleep. The house moans and shifts. Sometimes I hear footsteps outside my door. Heavy footsteps, pacing back and forth. Morning comes slowly. I find a table with bread and cheese downstairs. As I eat, William appears silently. "Come, the painting." He leads me through twisting halls to a large room filled with windows. Finally, some light. On a long table sits a painting covered with a white cloth. William pulls it off. I gasp. Deep cuts slash across the canvas. Black paint smothers the image, smeared violently across a woman's face, her dress, her hands. "Fix it," William says quietly. "I need it gone." I nod. "It will take time." "You have time." As he turns, I notice something on his hand, a long scar. Red, jagged, stretching from his thumb to his wrist. I stare without thinking. William whirls around. "What are you looking at?" "Nothing." He steps toward me, fast. Before I breathe, his hand is on my throat. Not hard, but close enough that I feel the heat of his skin. The scar touches my neck. "You want to see the monster," he whispers. "Here he is." Fear freezes me, but I do not look away. For a moment, something flickers in his eyes, surprise. Then he releases me sharply and storms out. "Fix the painting," he snaps, "and leave as soon as it's done." When the door closes, I fall to my knees, shaking. The warning echoes in my mind. "Do not let him touch you." I begin working anyway, because I need the money, because Lily needs a chance to live. As I clean the black paint, something strange appears under the surface. Something someone wanted hidden. Something that changes everything. Evelyn, still shaken from the strange confrontation, followed Will down the narrow hallway toward the back of the abandoned house. The air felt cooler here, carrying the faint smell of old wood and something metallic that she couldn't identify. The place looked as if it hadn't been touched in decades, yet there was an unsettling order to everything, like someone still moved here in the shadows, cleaning and arranging things when nobody was watching. Will didn't speak for a while. His footsteps echoed slightly, and Evelyn noticed the tremble in his hands when he reached for a doorknob. She placed a hand on his arm, gently trying to ground him, and he paused. His eyes were distant, like someone who had been carrying a weight for too long. "You shouldn't argue with her," he finally whispered. "She's not what she looks like. She never has been." Evelyn nodded slowly. "I'm not afraid of her." Will gave a faint, sad smile. "You should be." Everyone who wasn't afraid, they were wrong. He pushed the door open, revealing a room filled with dusty cabinets, shelves of boxes, and stacks of old files. Papers lay scattered across a wooden table. Some had faded writing, some had small drawings, mostly repeated sketches of faces Evelyn did not recognize, dozens of them. "Whose faces are these?" Evelyn asked. Will exhaled deeply before answering. People she cared about, people she hated, people she lost, sometimes people she wanted back. Evelyn frowned. Wanted back? Like how? Will didn't respond immediately. Instead, he walked toward a cabinet and removed a stack of yellowed pages tied with twine. He placed them in front of her. "This is her collection. Letters, diaries, notes she copied from other people. She writes them, rewrites them, changes them. She creates different versions of people until they fit what she wants." Evelyn felt a chill run up her arms. "You mean she rewrites their lives?" "Sometimes," Will said quietly, "she tries to rewrite them completely." Before Evelyn could decipher the meaning, a sudden soft tapping echoed from the hallway. Not footsteps, just a gentle rhythmic tap, as if someone lightly touched the wall with their fingernail. Will immediately stiffened. "She's moving again," he whispered. Evelyn's heartbeat quickened, but she forced herself to stay calm. "Why is she following us?" Will swallowed. "She doesn't like when someone touches her things, especially her memories." The tapping grew louder, closer. Will grabbed Evelyn's wrist gently but firmly and guided her to the other side of the room where a narrow staircase descended into darkness. "We have to go downstairs," he said. "It's the only place she won't enter." Evelyn stared at him. "Why not?" His voice dropped to almost nothing. "Because she's afraid of what's down there." Before Evelyn could ask what that meant, the tapping stopped and silence swallowed the hallway. Will took that moment to pull her toward the stairs. They creaked under their weight, each step carrying a thick heaviness. The air grew colder and more humid as they descended, and a faint hum vibrated through the walls. At the bottom, they entered a wide basement room lined with old wooden beams. It looked ancient, older than the rest of the house, almost like part of a structure that had existed before the house was built. In the center stood a long, cracked table, and on it lay a small metal box. "She keeps everything important in here," Will murmured, "but she never comes down to check it." Evelyn brushed dust from the lid. "What's inside?" "Something that explains all of this," Will said. "But once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. So, decide carefully." Evelyn hesitated. Her heart pounded with a mix of fear and curiosity. She knew she'd already crossed the line the moment she stepped into this house. There was no going back now. With a deep breath, she opened the box. Inside were photographs, hundreds of them, neatly stacked. Evelyn picked one up. The edges were worn, but the face was clear. A girl, maybe 10 or 11, with soft curls and bright eyes. She looked happy, completely untouched by darkness. "Who is she?" Evelyn asked softly. Will's jaw tightened. "Clara. Martha's daughter." The name stirred faint recognition from something Martha had said earlier. Evelyn sifted through more photos: Clara at the beach, Clara painting, Clara with a small dog. But as the photos continued, the colors shifted, smiles faded, the girl's eyes changed from bright to hollow. The last photo made Evelyn freeze. Clara stood in front of a cracked mirror, hair messy, face pale, eyes terrified. Behind her, barely visible in the reflection, was a shadowy figure, long fingers resting on her shoulders. Evelyn looked up sharply. What happened to her? Will closed his eyes. Martha never let her grow up. She kept trying to change her, mold her. Clara wasn't allowed to be herself. Whatever Martha wanted, she forced it on her. Evelyn whispered, "Did Clara run away?" He hesitated too long. "Clara didn't run," he finally said. "She disappeared. Everyone thought she left town, but the truth was, Martha couldn't let her go, not even after she died." A cold wave washed over Evelyn. "Died?" Will nodded slowly, pain tightening his face. Martha refused to accept it. She kept rewriting her memories, rewriting Clara's stories. She convinced herself Clara was still alive. And then she tried to bring her back in other people. Evelyn stepped back slightly. "What do you mean?" "The women she brings here," Will said. "She tries to shape them, change them, force them into Clara's place. She doesn't want a daughter. She wants the same girl she lost, over and over." Evelyn's stomach twisted. "And me? Why am I here?" Will's voice broke. "Because you look like Clara. Not exactly, but close enough for Martha's mind to twist the lines." Evelyn felt the weight of the truth crush her chest. "So I'm supposed to replace someone who's been gone for years?" "Yes," Will whispered, "but you won't. I won't let her repeat it again." Before Evelyn could respond, the overhead light flickered. A cold wind brushed across her neck. Will grabbed her hand tightly. "She's at the top of the stairs," he said. "She knows we came down here." Evelyn forced herself to stay steady. "What do we do?" "We wait," Will answered, "and hope she doesn't find the key." A slow creaking sounded above them. Martha's footsteps, huh? Then her voice drifting through the darkness with unnatural calm. "Will, bring her up. We're not finished." Will's hand shook violently. Evelyn squeezed his fingers. "I'm not going anywhere with her." He looked at her, fear and determination crossing his expression. "Then we'll have to escape before she does what she always does." Evelyn nodded. "Then tell me how." Will lowered his voice. "There's only one way out of here she can't block, but it leads to the place where Clara disappeared." Evelyn took a deep breath. "Show me." Will led Evelyn through the dim basement, past shelves filled with forgotten tools and dusty jars that looked untouched for decades. The single light bulb above them flickered as if responding to Martha's presence upstairs. Evelyn kept close beside him, feeling the uneasiness crawling deeper into her chest. Everything smelled of old stone and cold earth, and the air felt heavy, like it belonged to a place where time didn't move in the same way. "She's still up there," Will said quietly, glancing toward the stairs. "But she won't come down yet, not until she's sure she can control the situation." Evelyn swallowed, trying not to let panic take over. "You said there's a way out. Where is it?" Will walked to the far corner of the room where a stack of wooden crates stood against the wall. He pushed them aside one by one, revealing a section of stone that didn't match the rest of the basement. The stones here were darker, older, almost blackened. "There's a hidden passage behind this wall," he explained. "It leads to a tunnel that runs under the property. It's the only way out she can't block because she doesn't know it exists." Evelyn raised an eyebrow. "How do you know it exists then?" He hesitated. "Because I found it when I was looking for Clara." The name lingered between them, heavy and haunting. Evelyn didn't ask more. She could see the pain in Will's expression, the years he'd spent trapped in this place, haunted by memories he could never escape. Instead, she pressed her hand to the cold stone. "How do we open it?" Will bent down and pulled at a rusted metal hook on the floor. A grinding sound echoed through the basement as the wall shifted slowly inward, revealing a narrow passage behind it. The opening was barely wide enough for one person to pass through at a time. A faint draft drifted out, cool, damp, and smelling of earth. Evelyn took a small step forward, but paused when she heard soft movements above them. Martha's slow, dragging footsteps crossed the floor. She was close. Will placed a hand on Evelyn's back. "Go first. I'll follow you." Evelyn squeezed into the passage, the rough stone brushing her arms as she moved. The tunnel was dark except for the faint light leaking from the basement behind them. When Will stepped inside and pulled the stone wall shut, they were swallowed by darkness completely. The air felt colder here. The tunnel sloped slightly downward, and the ground beneath their feet was covered in packed dirt. The only sound was their breathing, echoing softly off the narrow walls. "How long does this tunnel go on?" Evelyn whispered. "Long enough," Will said. It was part of an older structure, something from before the town was built. People used it during storms or for storage. Most don't even know it exists anymore. They continued walking until the faint light from the basement disappeared completely. Will finally pulled out a small flashlight from his pocket, its beam weak but enough to guide them. Evelyn watched the light skim over uneven walls covered in faint markings. Some were scratches, random, desperate lines. Others looked like symbols carved long ago. "These markings," she said quietly, "who made them?" "Not Martha," Will answered. "They're much older, but some were made by Clara." Evelyn stopped walking. "Clara was down here." Will nodded. "She used this passage to hide from her mother, from the things Martha tried to make her become. She would come here when she felt unsafe." Evelyn felt the ache rise in her chest. "And the place you said she disappeared, it's down here?" "Yes," Will whispered, "at the end of this tunnel." Evelyn kept moving, her heart tightening with every step. The tunnel widened slowly until they entered a slightly larger chamber. The flashlight illuminated scattered remains of old furniture, an overturned chair, a wooden crate, and what looked like a torn blanket. Dust coated everything, but beneath it, Evelyn saw faint traces of small footprints. "This was her hiding spot," Will said. "She stayed here for hours sometimes. She would bring her drawings, her books, whatever made her feel normal." Evelyn walked slowly, touching the dusty surfaces. She could almost imagine the young girl sitting here, trying to escape the pressure of a mother who wanted to shape her into something impossible. It made her stomach twist. "What happened the day she disappeared?" Evelyn asked. Will stood still for a moment, gathering his thoughts. She had argued with Martha that morning. Martha wanted her to redo a painting she had already finished. She didn't think it was perfect enough. Clara ran down here like she always did, but that time something was different. "Different? How?" Evelyn asked. Will shined the flashlight onto the far wall. There, behind a collapsed wooden frame, was a small metal door almost hidden in the shadows. "She opened that," he said quietly, "a door none of us knew existed. And when she went through it, she never came back." Evelyn felt a chill run through her body. "Where does it lead?" "I don't know," Will admitted. "When I tried to follow her, the door was locked. Martha found out eventually and sealed it shut. She never talked about it again. She just pretended Clara was still alive, rewriting everything, changing her memories, her stories, her identity." Evelyn walked toward the metal door slowly. The surface was cold, covered in rust. She touched the handle gently. "Do you think Clara could still be alive?" Will looked down. "I don't think so, but I think Martha believes she could bring her back through other people, through the ones she chose, through girls who looked like her. Girls like you." The realization hit Evelyn like a weight dropping in her chest. So she chose me because I reminded her of Clara. "Yes," Will said softly, "but she won't get the chance to do it again." Before Evelyn could respond, a sharp sound echoed from the tunnel behind them, metal striking stone. Then another and another. Will grabbed her arm. "She found the passage," he whispered. "She's trying to break it open." Evelyn felt her heartbeat quicken. "What do we do now?" Will looked at the metal door again. "We open this. It's the only way forward. If we go back, she'll force her story onto us." He pressed his fingers along the edges of the rusted door until he found a latch hidden beneath a layer of dust. With effort, he pulled it upward. The mechanism groaned, loud enough to echo through the chamber. Evelyn winced, knowing Martha must have heard it. The door creaked slightly, but didn't fully open. Evelyn placed both hands against it and pushed with all her strength. The hinges resisted at first, but then, with a sharp crack, the door swung inward, revealing a narrow staircase descending into complete darkness. Will shined the flashlight into it, but the beam didn't reach the bottom. "I don't know where it leads," he said, "but it's the only chance we have." Behind them, a faint voice drifted through the tunnel, calm, steady, and too close. "Well, Evelyn, come back up. We can fix this." Evelyn felt her blood turn cold. Martha was already near. Will reached for Evelyn's hand. "We go together." Evelyn nodded, squeezing his hand. Without looking back, she stepped into the stairwell, feeling the darkness swallow her as they descended. Above them, the metal door slammed shut. Whether from the wind or from Martha's hand, they couldn't tell. But they kept going. Because whatever waited ahead, it was better than the fate Martha had planned. She escaped the darkness, but the darkness never forgets. Some doors should never be opened, but their story doesn't end here. Stay with us, like and subscribe for more mysteries.